Hey everybody, this is Rachel from Blue Jane Creations. I just wanted to come on really quick with an overview of how I do bulk embossing before I launch into my project. For those of you that might be new or, maybe it's just a different way to think of how to get set up, anything that can help in these tips, I'm happy to share with you, and none of them are a have to. It's just to kind of help get you thinking, in case you got in a rut or something. Maybe this can help get you past it. So what I do is I just think about what am I going to be doing, what do I need to do, and then I gather all the components from my supplies. So I like to take all the elements that I'm going to be embossing, like here you see the crosses, and I take everything out and I put it in a big pile. For me, it saves time that I'm not having to sit and open up packages throughout the process. I can just roll. It just streamlines everything, and I can keep everything moving. So I get my big pile of embellishments that I want to emboss. Then I collect all the colors and all the embossing powders I want to use for that day, and they have clear, and they have colored. I like to use both. So I get all the embossing powders that I feel like I want to use for that day. And then I go through, and in addition to the Versamark, I like to use the inks. And these specifically because the Tim Holtz inks tend to stay wet longer than like a dye ink. So the juicier the pad, the longer the ink stays wet, the better. So in addition to getting a variety of color, it also gives you time to get the embossing powder on there. So you probably could use dye inks, but I can never work fast enough to get the powder on there fast enough, and then half of it gets blown off when it comes time to use the heat tool. So that is the method behind that. Something that stays wet longer or tacky like the Versamark, that's what I need to be able to get the job done, apparently. So again, bulk pile, all the embossing powders I'm going to use, the Versamark and any inks I wish to use. I get those all pulled out and set up in front of me. Then I have a mat that I use, but I can't find it, of course. So for today, I'm going to use this glass trivet to take the bulk of the heat so I don't accidentally melt this plastic covering I have over my desk. So I definitely recommend getting something that can absorb the heat while you're embossing. And then for the tools, I like to use this, I think is actually for beading. So I've got the little container that can capture the loose powder when you're putting it on your element. Then I also like to use tweezers. Any tweezers will do. Just definitely, the pointier the tip, the better. Particularly when you're dealing with something that has like a lot of detail. I really recommend the tweezers to be able to hold it up so you can shake off the excess. You could even hold it for the embossing, but for me, I tend to hold it down and do the heat embossing like that. So get you some good tweezers, and again, they don't have to be the fancy smancy ones. You just want something to give your finger some distance between what you're embossing and the heat, because I have scorched my fingers a few times before I got a pair of tweezers back here. And then I like this little brush. It just helps get a lot of the excess out when I'm cleaning up and getting ready to go to the next color. So I recommend a little brush, tweezers, something that can help absorb the heat, and also I keep this little rag in here to wipe off any of the excess that gets all over everywhere. So the microfiber tends to move it off your desk better than even just like a piece of paper towel, because it's got the, for collecting the dust, it does the same thing with the fine powders. So I keep one of these on hand now to help anything that didn't make it back into the container, to keep the desk clean so you're not accidentally melting powder onto your desk. And then if you are absolutely new to embossing, you definitely have to have a heat gun. It's the only thing that will get hot enough to melt the embossing powders onto whatever it is that you're embossing. It's definitely a have to, like I said, if you're new to the embossing. So that is just the quick overview of what I do really quickly and why. So just I get everything laid out at one time, get it all set up, and then I can just roll and go through and do my bulk embossing. So I'm going to leave off there. If you have any questions, if what I was saying is unclear, please feel free to leave questions in the comments, or you can email me. I believe my email is linked on either in the description or it should be available on my about page. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. So you can leave a comment in the description box and I will answer you that way, or always feel free to email me and I will make sure that that email address is available. I know I put them at the end of all the videos, but again, you know, thank you guys so much for watching. It is always so much fun hanging out with you guys. And I will exit here and get into the embossing, and I will see you guys soon.